Hey book besties, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome to my channel. So of course we know that it is now September, but I am just now getting around to my July reading wrap up. I know life has been happening, y'all. Like, things have been happening. We've had busy work schedules. It is what it is. So but I am trying to get myself back on track. That's just me being fully transparent. I wanted to get through my July reading wrap up. I only read about 16 to 17 books, if I'm not mistaken. For me, that is a slow reading month. You know that I am used to, I think my highest I've ever read in a month is maybe 23 books, is my highest. I have not reached that yet. I think I may have reached that in August. Quite honestly, I am not sure. The last 2 months have been like really rocky. And I've been in a major book slump in July and definitely in August. But however, throughout July, I had a lot of events. I had a Beyonce concert. I went to Essence Festival and met a lot of authors. And it was just a fun time in July. So I had a lot of things going on, but had a great time. I'm back into the game. So, with that being said, if y'all see me looking down, I made notes, and I'm also on my Goodreads just going through things. And then we will go through every single book. I will let you know what my rating is and whether or not I recommend the book. And so, I didn't read as much in the month of July. I still had a great time with a lot of books. I don't even think I had like a lot of low rating books, which is great. With that being said, the first book that we're going to talk about is Sight Unseen by Kasha Thompson. I actually received this recommendation from Shaughnessy Schroeder on here on YouTube, and please go follow her. I absolutely love her content. With watching Shaughnessy, I really love that she likes to showcase a lot of like Black authors or authors who we don't really hear about, that's famous across YouTube, TikTok. And so I was able to get this book on Kobo because I do have a Kobo as well, and I have Kobo Plus, and that's on there. And I think it's the audiobook. The audiobook was absolutely phenomenal. So I definitely highly recommend, if you're looking for a really good audiobook, this is it. So Sight Unseen is essentially I forgot those marriage shows where you don't see your husband until you get to the altar. It's one of those. It was an absolutely cute book. I absolutely loved it, adored it. I highly recommend it. It was a cute, light, fluffy read. It did have a little bit of spice to it, but not so much. But I do love how the two main characters, like once they get married, how they kind of struggle trying to figure out what daily life looks like. And so it's always fun. Of course, I love those types of TV shows. And then what's the popular Netflix one that I can't think of? Like, everything's drawing a blank right now. But I just love those types of shows where it shows people like trying to get into a relationship and trying to figure out your norm. And so it was really good. I did rate this a 4 out of 5 star. Highly recommend. And like I already said, audiobook approved. All right, the next book that I did read, this was by Brianne Turner, and this is A Chance Encounter, a Seattle Romance. And of course, it says PNW, which is Pacific Northwest Romance book number 1. I have not read the other books in this series. And so this is essentially it was a really short novella. I think it was 150 pages, if that. It was really, really short, but it was a quick story about, two people just falling in love in Seattle. And of course, I don't know if you guys know this, but I used to live in the Pacific Northwest. Absolutely loved it. If I could go back, I absolutely would. I just could not deal with all the rain and the dreariness. That was, yeah. If you if you have depression, that is not where you want to live. I absolutely love that area, the vibes. the people in the Pacific Northwest. Absolutely adored it. So that was what kind of caught my eye when I saw this on Kindle. I think this is on Kindle Unlimited, if I'm not mistaken. But this was such a wonderful love story. It was very fast paced, and for me, that's fine. So, this is one of those books that you'll pick up if it's like a quick, light, fluffy read, but it's like super fast paced. And I use this as a like a palate cleanser type book, and I gave it a 4 out of 5. Really good. Highly recommend that book. So the next book that I did read was Dead Women Don't Testify by Shantell, Shreece. I remember giving this a 4 out of 5. I read this in one sitting, y'all. This was crazy. Like, it was an absolute wild book. And because the book is short, I don't like really short. I don't want to like kind of give things away because it's so short, but I highly recommend it. It was a 4 out of 5. And so this book was like, I really want to read Shantell's, like her other books that she's written. Anyways, 4 out of 5, really good. Highly, highly recommend that book. It was wild. It was a quick, wild ride. Another palate cleanser. The next book that I did read that I absolutely loved, and I actually have the physical copy of it. It's Blood in the Water by Tiffany D. Jackson. This is the book here. This book was absolutely phenomenal. I think all of the books have the sprayed edges. I think this is just how the book is. It's not a special edition. But this particular book, I did get it out of a bookstore in South Alabama called the Haunted Bookshop. You can order online, and they get a lot of like signed copies, and I did get some other type of book swag as well with this book when I ordered it. This is like a Scholastic bookmark, and then you have the signed book in the book plate. But this book is marketed as a YA book. Yes, it is a young adult. This is more of a middle grade young adult book. So yes, I do see fifth grade up reading this because it does have murder in it, but it's not like on page. If that is just kind of just a kid died, you know what I'm saying? But I absolutely adored this book as an adult. It's a really quick read. So in this book, we're following Kalani. Her father is in prison, and for the summer, she is going to go to Martha's Vineyard with some family friends. And I love seeing like the elite Black people. I didn't even know that a lot of Black people live like or have homes in Martha's Vineyard and vacation there. Totally news to me out of two books that I've been reading, this one, and then I'm reading a Sunny Hostin book currently. I've started looking up things about like Oak Bluffs and Martha's Vineyard and just blown away. But anyways, love seeing that in this book and the representation in the book. But once she goes to Martha's Vineyard, she ends up finding out how this family is possibly intertwined with her father's prison sentence and what we have going on. And it's just a lot. It was a wild ride. For me, of course, it's a short book. I mean, it's a YA book, so of course it's kind of fast paced, but it was really good. I definitely enjoyed this. And if I'm not mistaken, I think I gave this a 5 out of 5. But yes, I would say fifth grade and up, it's safe. But of course, read it for your own children to make sure that you approve of it. The next book, this is a series. This is a 2-book series. This is Astor Hill and Second Position by Sydney Madison. This is a best friend group, and both of these books, y'all, were amazing. I gave Astor Hill a 4 stars out of 5, and Second Position I gave a 5 out of 5. So I did enjoy the second book better than the first one. The first book, this gives Gossip Girl meets One Tree Hill, the entire series. We're getting some love stories, some messiness. And when I say messiness, it's like love triangle, best friends love each other, making each other jealous. It's just a hot mess and a half. And one of those characters absolutely just could not stand with, I think his name was Will Chapman, if I'm not mistaken. Hated him. He can kick rocks. Like, I hated him in both books, but in the second book, you get a new set of characters. and you're kind of following their love story. And I was just a little bit more invested in Second Position than Astor Hill's story, but both books were good, fast paced, read them after each other. Absolutely enjoyed those two books. So the next book I read was Mistakes We Never Made by Hannah Brown. So this is the actual first book. I read these Five Engagement Rings of Silver Rain. That was actually book two that I read in June because I had the arc for that one and the audiobook was really, really great. So I ended up finding the first book at Books a Million for like $5. So I was like, absolutely. Ended up reading it and it was absolutely phenomenal. It was so I kind of read them out of order. However, I did get a little bit more information about Sybil and her friend group and family things going on in the book one for Mistakes We Never Made. I gave this a 4 out of 5. I also did listen to it a little bit, probably half of the book on audio, and the audiobook was good as well. So if you either or is great, the audiobook definitely approved. So the next book that I did read was Terror at the Gates by Scarlett St. Clair. I actually had the arc of this book before it came out. I will say that I do love the premise of this book. I just was not crazy about it. And it's essentially, it does have magic in it. It's kind of like a fantasy, but well, I mean, yeah, it's fantasy. I don't know. I can't explain it. It's just, I think this is actually my second Scarlett St. Clair book. And so the first Scarlett St. Clair book, I think I rated it a 3. And I'm starting to think that just Scarlett St. Clair may not just be the author for me, or that the type of books that she writes is just not for me. And so now that I know that for sure, after trying to, I won't say trying, I did finish Terror at the Gates. I did give it a 3 out of 5, which I think the story is absolutely great. I think it's, I do love the premise of it. I just could not, I stuck with it, but it was kind of hard for me getting through a book. Probably should have DNF'd it, but I did want to finish it for the sake of the book. So, because I had the arc. So I did go ahead and finish it out. I gave it a 3. The next book, I absolutely love this book, y'all. This was probably one of my favorite books of July. So it is Where There's Smoke by Erica Alexander. So I think this is either my first or my second sapphic romance. Did not know that I would even enjoy sapphic romances, but I am learning that I'm actually enjoying it. It was a really good love story, and I love the two main characters. They were just phenomenal in this book. I absolutely love the cover of it because one of my work besties, absolutely adore her. She looks just like the character in the pink sweater. She would probably wear the same outfit to work. And so when I called her and I told her, I was like, hey, you look like this person on this book. She was like, what? And it's just like, oh shit, like it does look like me. Yeah, girl, this looks like you. So absolutely looks like her, dresses like her, everything. But this book was absolutely phenomenal. I actually read this book twice, y'all, because it was so good. Like, it was spicy. I'm going to say that it was a spicy book. It's a sapphic romance. If you're not into sapphic romances, of course, don't read it. But it was actually a really good, well written story. And so I am looking forward to reading a lot more of Erica's work. The next book that I did read in July was Margot's Got Money Troubles by Ruthie Thorpe. So y'all, I listened to this on audiobook. Audiobook was great. This book was to me like a literary fiction rom-com. It was like the character development was there. I gave this book, I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars, y'all. And so essentially we are met with Margot. She has an affair with her college professor, and when she's having an affair with her professor, she ends up pregnant. And so she, in order to make ends meet, she decides that she's going to start an OnlyFans account. And she's trying to navigate, trying to make ends meet, how to be a good mother, trying to just figure out life. And just seeing her from, I think she got pregnant at 18, 19. So she was like really, really young. and like seeing her just grow up over time and trying to make these decisions, and they're really hard decisions for her, but I love the character development that Ruthie Thorpe kind of put in the book. And so overall it was a quick read for me. I really did enjoy the audiobook. So there's that. I do recommend it. Early July, I think I told you guys that I was going to Essence Festival and that I was going to go meet Ladarian Williams, who wrote Blood at the Root. Absolutely love that book. It was a 5-star read. So at Essence, we were able to get a copy of his second book, Bones of the Crossroads. I read that one. I had already had the arc of it because I was approved through NetGalley to get the arc. Already had started reading the book on the way to Essence, got the physical copy, and like sped through the physical copy. Y'all, that book was a 5 out of 5 star. Like, it was absolutely phenomenal. Now, I will say, book two, I was more engaged, way more bought in than book one, because I think we had a lot more dialogue. In book one, we were sitting with Malik and his internal dialogue because he was still trying to figure out his world around him, this new aspect of life, learning he has magic and trying to figure out what that looks like. So we were in his head a lot. So I did love with book two. We still are with his internal dialogue, but we have a lot more banter and interactions with a lot more people around him and trying to figure out these different aspects of the world building. Ladarian did a phenomenal job with building all that out. And I think he said that he's working on book three right now. So I'm really excited. It would be even better if this could be like a movie or a TV adaptation. I absolutely still see that like playing out. It was absolutely phenomenal. Highly recommend that book. So the next book that I did read, which I was actually very shocked. I already knew going in because she put on Facebook, "This is not like my other books." So you guys probably already know what it is. It is The Girl I Was by Geneva Rose. Reading this book is definitely not like her other books. I did not know that this was a re-release. I actually thought this was a brand new book, but apparently she released this years and years ago, and she just re-released it with a new publisher and new cover. So this is the book, and these are the sprayed edges. Absolutely beautiful. So the reason why I enjoyed this book a lot is because it's different than what Geneva Rose is mainly. She is a suspense thriller writer, and all of her books kind of follow along that same line. This one was more of a literary fiction book. It did have me a little teary eyed at the end because it just had like this huge meaning to it of like being kind to yourself, hope, and all these things. So I really, really enjoyed this. It was a 5-star read for me from Geneva Rose. So it's basically time traveling back to, oh my gosh, was it in the 90s or the 80s? I can't remember. I think she goes back to, no, I'm all wrong. She goes back to 2002 when we had flip phones. And so she ends up meeting herself at a younger age. So while she was in college, I think she ends up, her old self currently meets her young self, and she's trying to convince her young self that that's her, and they spend time together, and it's a lot. It was a ride, but it was a really great book. It was a 5 out of 5 star read. Actually, no, I actually gave it 4 out of 5, but I do remember loving this book. Absolutely. So please go out and read The Girl I Was. The next book that I did read was The Silent Woman by Minka Kent. This is another re-release, if I'm not mistaken. I did have this as an ARC read. I absolutely enjoyed this book. This was a 4 out of 5 star read. And I actually forgot what the book is about, honestly. And that is so terrible. That's why I like to do my reading wrap ups. Like, I can remember like general thoughts, but I'm just going to read my review that I put in Goodreads. And I said, "Imagine marrying the man of your dreams only to find out his sick, immobile ex-wife lives in the guest house and you're not allowed to speak to her. Red flag, absolutely." But one day you have no choice but to help care for her, and she secretly slips you a note that says, "Run." From that moment on, I couldn't put this book down. This is a classic Mika Kent, fast paced, unsettling, and filled with just the right amount of tension. The characters were well developed, even the mysterious ex wife. The twists were twisting, the ending hit hard in the best way. If you love a domestic thriller with secret suspense and messy relationship dynamics, please add this one to your TBR. So that was my review I put in Goodreads. It was really good, y'all. Like I now it's starting to come together what the book was about, but an absolute phenomenal read. So the next book that I read was Taste the Love by Corellia Stitz Waters and Faye Stitz Waters. This is a married couple. I love this book. I gave this a 4.5, so I guess you can round it up to 5-star read. And this was another sapphic romance. And I'm gonna go ahead. I remember writing this in because I did have the arc of this book. I'm going to read you my review in Goodreads. It says, "Y'all already know I love me a good sapphic romance, and when it's set in the Pacific Northwest, that just does something to me. Add in the fact that our two FMCs are both chefs. Yes, please. Taste the Love serves up a charming mix of sizzling romance, laugh out loud banter, and friendships that feed the soul. The chemistry between the leads were undeniable. The banter had me grinning, and the angst had me clutching the pages and my pearls. And the slow burn tension was chef's kiss. On top of that, the supporting cast, the friendships brought so much warmth and richness to this story. Everything about this book had humor, swoon, some found family, and food, which will make you hungry while you're reading it. Honestly, this book was equal parts cozy and romantic, and I loved every second of it. So that was my review for Taste the Love. I really, really, really love this book, y'all. The next book in July that I read was another sapphic romance. This sapphic romance, this was too cute, y'all. This was The Secret Crush Book Club by Carmen Lee. Now, usually when I request books from publishers on NetGalley, I try my best to never get a book that is book 3, 4, 5, 6, like further down the line, especially if I need to read like books 1 through whatever to get to the book that I have requested, because realistically that's probably not going to happen, and I just don't think it's fair for me to get a book like that. So sometimes I do make those mistakes, but I still try to read the other books prior to. But I'm now being very, very careful, because one time I think I requested a book 7, and I was like, baby, I'm not going to read books 1 through 6. Like, no, because books 1 through 6 had probably 200-300 pages a piece. No, ma'am. I will say that with this book, the series is called Peach Blossom. This is book number 3. In this series, Peach Blossom is a city. I'm assuming it's like in Georgia. I want to move to Peach Blossom and meet all these people in these stories, because I know the other 2 books are about some of the other supporting characters that's in this book. But anyways, I'm going to read my review from this one as well. And it's The Secret Crush Book Club by Carmen Lee was absolutely amazing. This sapphic romance had everything that I love: sweet banter, undeniable chemistry, and a love story that kept me smiling the whole way through. This book is set in Peach Blossom, and honestly, I am obsessed with this town. It felt so charming and alive, and now that I want to pack a bag and move there and join this book club myself. The way Carmen built this world made me want to not only visit Peach Blossom, but also dive into the other books within this series. I absolutely enjoyed the back and forth between the characters. Their banter was witty, heartfelt, and it made their romance much more swoon worthy. The story balanced lighthearted, flirty moments with emotional depth, and it felt authentic. This is the kind of romance that warms your heart and leaves you wanting more. If you're looking for a sapphic love story filled with charm, laughter, and setting that you'll want to revisit again and again, The Secret Crush Book Club is it. 5-star read, go read it. I love that book, y'all. So the next book I did read was Summer's Echo by Robbie Renee. This is a new release. And this is actually my second Robbie Renee. I think I read, is it Somebody's Husband or Somebody's Wife? I think those are actually two books, but I can't remember which one I read. It's the one with the husband and the suit on. So maybe that's Somebody's Husband. So I read that one. I really enjoyed it. And so I gave this one a 5 out of 5 star read as well. And I said, Robert Renee does it again. From book one, I was really pulled in. And honestly, I'm still upset this book was over. I really was upset, y'all, because I was like, dang, I wanted more. I'm a sucker for friends to lovers romance, and this story just delivered it all. And y'all, I remember this book. It had a lot of chemistry, the angst, and it just felt really just genuine and authentic between the two characters, and I just really enjoyed it, and I highly recommend this book, y'all. Like, please go out and read this book. So I think that is all of my July books, if I'm not mistaken. If I missed anything, we will cover it in August. So that is all the books that I read in July. I hope you guys found a lot of books that you can put down in your TBR. And also, if you guys have added any of these books to your TBR, please let me know what you plan on reading below in the chat. And also, if you read these, let me know what you thought about these books. Let's spark up a conversation so we can talk. And then also, as always, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, I'll see you guys in the next one.